I've been on diabetic emergency calls where the family thought the person was drunk. I've been on calls where they thought it was a stroke. I've been on calls where they just thought their loved one was acting confused from age. In every one of those cases, time was lost. Time that, in a diabetic emergency, can be the difference between someone walking out of their house in 20 minutes or riding to the hospital in the back of my ambulance. I'm Doug Frankfather, 30 years as a paramedic, former EMS program director, and in that time, diabetic emergencies were some of the most common calls I ran, and some of the most fixable if the people around the patient knew what they were looking at. That's the word I keep coming back to: fixable. Unlike a heart attack or a stroke, a diabetic emergency can often be resolved completely on scene. No hospital, no transport. Just the right action in the first 5 minutes. Here's what makes diabetic emergencies so dangerous despite being so treatable. There are two directions they can go: low blood sugar and high blood sugar, and they require opposite responses. Low blood sugar comes on fast. We're talking minutes. Sudden confusion, shakiness, cold sweat, irritability, sometimes aggression. I've been cursed out by perfectly pleasant people mid-hypoglycemic episode. The personality change itself is a symptom, not a character flaw. High blood sugar builds slowly, over hours. Excessive thirst, frequent urination, fatigue, nausea. In advanced cases, deep and rapid breathing and a distinctive fruity-smelling breath from ketones building up in the blood. Speed of onset is your single most useful clue. Sudden confusion in a known diabetic, think low. Slow decline over hours with thirst and fatigue, think high. And if you're not sure, treat for low first if the person can safely swallow. A small amount of sugar will not meaningfully worsen high blood sugar in the short term, but withholding sugar from someone who is actually low can become dangerous within minutes. So what do you actually do? For suspected low blood sugar in a conscious person who can swallow safely, give fast-acting sugar, 4 ounces of juice, regular soda, glucose tablets or gel, a few teaspoons of sugar or honey. Not diet drinks, not a protein bar, not a meal. Fast-acting sugar. Right now. Wait 15 minutes. Reassess. If they're improving, keep monitoring. Give them a fuller snack once they're clearly better. If they're not improving after 15 minutes, give a second dose and call 911. Now, what about unconscious or seizing? Don't give anything by mouth. Not a drop. That is how people choke and aspirate during a diabetic emergency. Call 911 immediately. Turn them on their side to protect the airway. And if the household has been prescribed glucagon, a nasal spray or injectable kit, this is the moment to use it. Glucagon raises blood sugar rapidly. It's specifically designed for exactly this situation. If you don't have it and someone in your household is on insulin, talk to their physician about getting it today. A few medication flags change how this plays out, and EMS needs to know them immediately. Insulin timing matters. A skipped meal after a normal dose is a common setup for a severe low blood sugar emergency. Sulfonylureas, a common oral diabetes med, can cause low blood sugar that returns for hours, even after giving sugar. This is why EMS evaluation is crucial, even if they seem to recover. Alcohol blocks the liver's ability to release stored sugar, an effect that can last overnight. A few drinks before bed can cause a low blood sugar emergency hours later. And beta blockers for heart conditions can mask the early warning signs of low blood sugar, like a rapid heartbeat. No warning at all. This is why medication history goes directly to EMS the moment they arrive. Most of what I just walked you through is in the free paramedic safety card for this volume, which you can get at over50strong.net right now, link in the description. But the full picture, prevention, the field protocol walkthrough, the travel variant for diabetics on the road, the caregiver action card, the myths that keep getting people hurt, that's in Diabetic Emergencies, the Paramedic Briefing. Volume 4 of the Paramedic Briefing Library. A few things in there I want to flag directly. Continuous glucose monitors have changed what's possible for adults over 50 managing diabetes. The prevention chapter covers this specifically. The travel chapter covers insulin storage on flights, time zone dosing adjustments, what to do when you're abroad and can't communicate symptoms clearly, and why the carry-on rule for insulin is non-negotiable. And the myths chapter covers the one I hear most often. Well-managed diabetics don't have emergencies. That is not true. I have treated careful, compliant, well-monitored diabetics in full-blown hypoglycemic crises because of a skipped lunch, an unexpected workout, or one more drink than usual. This isn't about managing diabetes badly. It's about being prepared for the moments the body doesn't cooperate, regardless. Diabetic emergencies are unusual in this series because they're frequently resolvable on the spot. No hospital, no transport, if the people around the patient know what they're doing. That's the opportunity here. Fast, correct action in the first 5 minutes. The free safety card gives you the checklist. The full ebook gives you the depth. Both are at over50strong.net. Links in the description. If this helped you, subscribe, because the next volume in this series covers respiratory emergencies and COPD flares, and that one has the same life or death window. Stay prepared, stay calm, and trust the training.